right, all right. It is Hard Talk Radio. I'm your host, MrDeadman. Okay, and tonight we're talking about comics, comic books, and I let me tell you something. I don't know too much about that, but that's okay because my guest tonight definitely does. We got Phoebe Xavier here. How's it going?
Hi, how you doing, JC?
I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. Now, you've been on the show before, but for those who don't know who you are and what you do, well, that's the question I always start off with. Who are you and what do you do?
Sure. My name is Phoebe A. Xavier. I am a writer. I write comic books. I also have a short story collection that is being edited at the moment. I am here to talk to you about a book that we have on Kickstarter right now. I run a comic book brand. I work for, I'm the founder and editor-in-chief for 123 Go Publications.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a pretty diverse team from all around the world. And the book we're pushing right now is called 13th Moon. It is our Halloween anthology book. And some of it is more comedic, but a lot of it is more horror intensive.
Okay. Hey, that's pretty cool though. I mean, that's a nice blend of having comedic and horror right there. I mean, I think that's going to work. Now, what's the story behind this this particular comic, this 13th Moon?
All right. So, last year I was part of a modern mythology anthology, and it was like a $13,000 Kickstarter, and I thought like that sort of goal was kind of unattainable. I had done a Kickstarter once or twice that I really flopped it and did not came nowhere near the goal. But being a part of a project like that where we made $13,000 in a month, it made me realize that I probably could raise like 2,000. And right now I think we're at about 700, and we have 27 days left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I noticed that. I see that here. In fact, I have it on the screen here. Looks like 682 so far with 41 backers, 27 days to go. But I mean, it seems like it's very obtainable here, and you know what? It's tough out there. I'm like the indie comic scene. From my knowledge, it looks like a lot of it's funded by crowdfunding, like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, whatever the people use.
And Patreon. People use Patreon a lot.
Yep, they do. How do you feel about this Kickstarter?
I feel really good about it. We are, as long as we keep doing about $100 a day, which I think is about, maybe we've been doing a little bit more than that. I think maybe we've been live 5 days. So 705 days, I feel pretty good about. I also have a couple more podcasts lined up. I think we have like at least 5 or 6 throughout the month that different members of our team will be appearing on. So we're going to keep pretty persistent, full court press with the promotion throughout the month, and I think we'll get there.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So you got your sort of like your publicity tour, planned. You're getting the word out, and it is a grind. It is a grind constantly. Like I bet you're busy on social media everywhere to get the word out about this Kickstarter, right?
I am. I also have work 4 days a week, so like a lot of my week is absorbed into that. But then I come home and I letter comic books and I message people until they send us money for a copy of our book.
Hey, but that's what you gotta do. I mean, a lot of these people who have Kickstarters and they don't go anywhere. It's I mean, look at what you're doing. I mean, you gotta. I
think it's a lack of follow through. Yeah, if you follow through on it, you can definitely meet your goals. I mean, I'm not going to try to do $5,000, $6,000 yet, but there is an audience out there that will invest that much in someone's comic book.
Now, this might be a little too revealing. Just let me know. But your goal, is it going to cover the costs, or is it just going to help you a little bit, and then you have some more like out of pocket expenses?
Oh no. All right. So some of the artists are being paid in copies of the book.
Okay.
So I have to raise enough money to cover that cost.
Yeah.
Other people are being paid in cash. So it goes towards paying the artist for a good portion of it. And then I think Kickstarter takes out 5%. And then also shipping is usually a huge impact on these budgets. So I do not plan to pocket like anything. If we meet the goal, then I will be able to publish it, send it out to who ordered it, and pay my artists.
You said something like that last time when you were on the show, and it's like this really seems like a labor of love here, and I
think for all independent comic book creators, it's got to be, yeah. Unless you're independently wealthy and like you're a trust fund baby or something. Yeah, if you make comic books, then you're putting a lot of your life into it.
Man, I mean, that's dedication right there. And I don't know. I kind of feel like some people don't really appreciate that and don't understand how much really goes into it, you know. But but then again, at the same time, other people do.
They could try. They could try to make a comic book, and they will find out.
Yeah, right. Okay, now let's talk about the meat and potatoes behind this particular issue. So I understand it's like a collection of stories, and it's an anthology, which I know what that means as someone who publishes short stories together. But some people now are like, what's an anthology anymore? It's like it's a collection of stories written by different authors. In this case, it's a comic book illustrated and written by different people, right?
Yeah, several different art teams and several different writers.
All right, so is there a consistent theme behind it, or is it just whatever they bring?
Halloween spookiness. Okay, so my particular story in the book, I only have one 4-page story, is more of like a Black Mirror kind of approach to horror.
Hey, that's nice.
It's sci-fi and shocking, but no like supernatural aspect to it. But we have okay, so one of our stories is like a guy that's about to get killed by the mafia, and we characterize it as like the Vor or the Bratva, the Russian mafia.
Okay.
But that team is from Finland as well, which is a part of why I characterized it that way. But he escapes that death only to find himself right inside of a zombie apocalypse. So that was a cool little. It's horror, and there's no specific Halloween. Like I don't think Halloween is actually happening anywhere in the book, except for on the intro and the outro pages, when I have my equivalent of the Crypt Keeper going.
Okay. And that is something, though, to escape the Russian mafia into a zombie apocalypse. That's some hell of a situation. Right? Mm.
Yes.
Does Putin make an appearance?
No, he doesn't.
What about Trump? Does he make an appearance?
No.
Okay.
Although, they're zombies, so who knows? Maybe he's being eaten by one.
Shit. Okay. Man. Now, what about the guitar chick? Because that's the cover story, and that's, I mean, what I see, I'm like, okay, she's kind of cool looking.
Yeah,
what's her story?
Awesome. We actually put an update. Oh, hey, can you send me this link to the podcast so I can post it on Twitter?
Oh, yeah. Normally I have that taken care of ahead of time. I'll go and send that to you.
No worries. I didn't realize we were going to do it, or that you do it live until last minute.
Oh, yeah.
I have been drinking.
It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I'll send it to you now. But so yeah, tell me the story about this particular I guess this story.
Lucy?
Yeah.
Lucy and the Doombringer. Okay, so my friend Baeron Calderon, he's been working with 123 Publications for a few years. He did one of the first stories in my first comic book I ever put out. He had this idea. He showed me the pictures, his design phase pictures of. It was actually originally 3 different demonic women that he was designing, but I guess he just ran with the particular story about Lucy. Mm-hmm. And I think the original idea was going to be that they summon her to just be in their band, but then it expanded to more like they summon her to fight another demon, and then they share an interest in heavy metal. So it goes from there. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, being a demon from hell or a chick from hell, whatever. Imagine she's willing and able to shred like some pretty mean guitar.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
She took. And she is also she's like allegedly alluded to be one of Lucifer's daughters, Satan's daughters. Well,
so okay, no, that's good. I mean, you have that in a band, in a heavy metal band. You pretty much are set.
You could be headlining metal fests. Yes.
right? Right? And maybe make a comeback. Maybe where metal will uh, actually be dominant once again. But man, I was talking about that with a friend the other day. How like metal is like. Do you ever think it's gonna make a comeback? Do you ever think it's really gonna dominate again, or you think it's kind of more? Because it's like anymore. It's like it's still like hip hop.
I don't listen to a lot of metal personally.
Oh man, see, okay, but like back in the 80s, oh, metal was everywhere. At least the metal scene was pretty high. It was pretty top.
Yeah, back in the 80s, I was just a kid, but I listened to The Who, Huey Lewis and the News, Beastie Boys. Okay, Twisted Sister was maybe one of the most metal things I listened to.
Yeah. Twisted Sister's good.
Yeah, Cyndi Lauper. I used to be huge into Cyndi Lauper.
Hey, she's good too.
Yeah, she's actually back. She's making a lot. She's like has a huge voice politically now.
Wow.
It's all over the social medias.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like Cyndi Lauper.
Okay, now getting back to the comic here. Now, so the first story is written and illustrated by Calderon.
Written and illustrated by Baeron Calderon.
Okay,
and he also wrote a version of the dialogue. And since I redid the letters for it, I adjusted a bit of the dialogue. I kind of tried to make it a little funnier, and I think I did. I think I made it funnier. But you guys will never see the older version, so you're just gonna have to go with however funny it is.
Okay. Now, I'm not too familiar with his other work. Is there anything else you could recommend from Calderon?
Calderon, I think is how you say it.
Calderon.
But I think he works at a tattoo shop, so I could say go check out his tattoos.
Hey, cool. All right. And what are the other stories in this anthology that you would that you want to definitely highlight and talk about here tonight?
Oh, all right. Well, Chris Mccully is a huge part of this book. Chris Mccully and Philip Butehorn are the two other biggest parts of this book for me. Chris is a colorist, and he's also the writer for a story that we did called Dracula, Lord of the Future. Oh, yeah. And Chris has actually, I think it's only like 2 years maybe that he's been working in comics. But he's worked with Todd McFarlane. He works with the 2000 AD people. He has some stuff going on with Marvel right now. He's definitely like one of the most experienced members of my 1-2-3 Go team.
Yeah.
And he wrote this story about Dracula being in the future. And it's sort of just a really quick 4-page thing to introduce the character in the world. And he got in contact with people that were part of the Bram Stoker estate. And They have actually written a contract with him to produce several books that will essentially be canon of the story of Count Dracula. That Chris at least has a contractual thing going with them that his version of Dracula, at least when approved by them, it's not like just free reign. He has to run it through them before he publishes anything. But yeah, that he gets to write stories about Dracula several hundred years after any other Dracula stories that we've seen.
Hey, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty big responsibility. I mean, that's something that you're still working on. That could actually lead to, you could be planting the seeds for, like, I don't know, later on, maybe film adaptations, TV adaptations, depending on what happens. It's like.
That would be awesome. That would definitely be cool. And I mean, a lot of that credit has to go to Chris. And what did he do on that? He did the colors and the writing, the script. I did the letters, or I'm about to do the letters. I don't have the finished pages yet. I'm going to do the letters. And, Colin Maxwell, who I believe is from England, did the pencils. And he's done a lot of work, too. Excuse me. He does usually military books, like military stories.
Yeah.
So Colin definitely, if anybody wanted to look up Colin Maxwell, he's out there making books in the UK. Okay. Chris maybe he's even in Ireland. He might be specifically in Ireland. I know he's in the UK. But yeah, so that story's going to be great. And I think we're going to reunite that creative team for a full 1-issue version.
Hey, that's good. Yeah, reunite that team, get the project going. That'd be good.
Oh, sure.
So yeah, the momentum behind this 13 Moon sounds really good. I mean, like I said, the Kickstarter just started not too long ago, and you're already almost at 700. I think you're really going to hit that goal there. I hope so. I mean, guys, if you like what you're hearing, feel free to support it. The link is going to be in the description box below. You can check it out now if you want to, and share it around definitely, because it's not just Phoebe Xavier that benefits, but it's the artists involved, everyone involved benefits from it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, it's like, I guess, okay, so you brought up, we talked about the independent comic book scene, or the status of it, or the. So for me, the way I'm experiencing it as a creator is that there's a lot of use of Kickstarter and crowdsourcing,
Yeah.
and it comes down to artists supporting one another, like, and understanding that, like, we're all kind of broke, or like one paycheck away from broke, and
Yeah.
and that, like, so I'm gonna invest $5 in someone who invests $5 in me. Like,
Right.
it's very reciprocal, that and very supportive, artist to artist.
Hey, that's nice. I mean, that's how it looks like it's gonna. I mean, that's how you support each other anymore. I mean, it's. Are you finding it's more difficult now with with the pandemic, with COVID, that since a lot more people are out of work and all that? Are you finding it harder for people to really give that support?
I think that, okay, we did cancel a Kickstarter that we were gonna do in like April, and it was because COVID just had started to get really serious with shutting things down economically,
Yeah.
and people were definitely holding on to their money at that point. As far as I see now, Kickstarter is popping. There are people getting funded all the time, and there is still a functioning economy out there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I live in Texas. It's pretty still functioning here. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yeah.
We're in Texas. Where are you at?
Houston. Just doxed myself.
Been there.
But no, it's like because the economy in Houston's pretty much oil and gas, construction.
Oh, yeah.
And those two things are still going, and like every other industry kind of like benefits off of that, essentially. So as long as the plants continue to run, we'll be fine, and they will.
Right. And so there's money out there to be spent, and I think investing in consumer, like, comfort things like comic books or whatever else people are selling on Kickstarter, I think that, like, psychologically helps people. Like, we're still living in a normal world. I can just read books for fun.
Right.
Someone breathing on me is not a threat of death.
Right. Now, speaking of the indie scene, now you probably spend more time actually creating comics than you do reading comics, but are there any other like indie comic artists or writers or anything, or creators that you find to be noteworthy?
Well, people that I work with that I would recommend you look into their other work. Jeffrey Haase, who writes with me, he's the writer for Moloch Reigning Devil, and he's written a number of other stories that go into 1, 2, 3 Go books. Definitely, Nightmare Patrol is one of his other books, and
Nightmare
Sanctus,
Patrol, sounds cool.
other things written that are pretty rad. Chris Mccully, like I mentioned before, he's involved in a lot of cool stuff. I don't know specific titles to steer you at there just yet. I don't know what I'm allowed to say about his Marvel project, but I think I can say what he said publicly, which is I think he's working on some sort of Hitman story with Marvel.
Marvel. What Hitman is a Marvel character, or that they just
like that as their career, like an assassin.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, not a character named that. No. But so Hjorsh is another person I work with, an artist that is from South America, that he's been involved in a number of different books recently. That what is his last name? Gabato. George Gabato, Hjorsh. He also did the cover for Sidereal Apogee #5, which I'll be releasing pretty soon. I'm going to order copies here to me, and then it will be live on Indie Planet, which is where we sell most of our books.
Hey. Yeah, and that's the other question I had too, as far as like how you actually put these comics together, like an indie scene. Because as a publisher, as a writer, and someone who publishes other writers, it's like you go to like Ingram Spark or KDP or Lulu or whatever. It's pretty simple, but like to put together a comic, like it sounds like you actually have to go find an actual printing service and go through them. I don't know, like how do you do that?
Oh, I personally print through Kablam. They're in Orlando. Other people, though, I know there are a couple of good publishers that indie people work with out in the Pacific Northwest. I'd imagine regionally in the Midwest, you could probably print out of a few presses in Chicago. But yeah, I personally work with Kablam, who also runs Indie Planet. And so it is a pretty good service that I can publish any number of books. I can publish, 15 books through their printing service, and then they'll feature those books in a digital form on their website, Indie Planet, and also they will offer them print to sell. Like, so if someone then wants to order just 2, they'll print just the 2 issues just for them.
Cool. I also had a question in the chat here by Infrafan. He asks, forgive me if I missed this, but how many volumes of 13th Moon are planned?
Okay. So yeah, if we fund this project, and hopefully we will, we'll know by early November. Then we're definitely planning on doing it next year and the year after that, as long as I can still publish comic books, and as long as we're still alive and not consumed by any sort of impending apocalypse.
Okay. So it's going to be a yearly anthology.
It's definitely a Halloween thing. It's and I have already accepted. I'm working on a script right now for what would hopefully go in volume 2, and that is with a person that I just met. His name is Joseph. His last name I can't think of offhand, but Joseph is helping me edit my short story collection, and he also submitted to me a 6-page script for possibly volume 2 of 13.
Hey, that's good. All right, so so you keep it as a Halloween theme, which makes sense. Okay, I mean it's a Halloween themed comic, of course. All right.
Yes, 13th month.
So now, as long as this Kickstarter goes through, it's going to continue to be yearly, or is it going to be like, next year we got to have to do another Kickstarter to fund that one?
Oh yeah, no, it'll probably be kickstarted again next year.
Okay.
Yeah,
and I understand.
The kickstarting isn't really like to amass enough capital to like then be in regular production. It will be a shoestring affair again next year, but hopefully get us finished.
And that's like one of my worries about the indie comic scene. It seems very volatile. I do appreciate the love and the momentum behind these crowdfundings, and it's really helping. It's really getting indie comics launched, and it's nice. I don't know the longevity of it though. It's like are you able to make back from the comic, and in that way you can kind of grow from that capital? It seems like
so the book then, if we successfully fund it this month, then at least it'll then exist on Indie Planet too. So moving forward after November, any sales would definitely be, profit in the pocket.
Right.
But the goal of the campaign is really just to publish it and to get about 100 copies sold.
Okay. And when people back it, I mean, I haven't really looked right here, but I'm assuming there's different levels on backing where people can get a copy when it's released.
Yeah. $13 is actually, I doubled down on branding. $13 for 13th Moon.
Okay.
And it's $13 plus shipping, and that's just for the book itself. There are a number of other reward tiers, and I think so. We published an update tonight that shows you one of the original drawings that Rich Mulholland drew, that we could send to one person that was going to invest $150 into the campaign.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's a one-of-a-kind thing. Like, he drew a picture of Lucy. And yeah, we could, and then, okay, so I think we have t-shirts for maybe $20. A merch packet that has buttons and posters and stickers. But yeah, and that's And I don't know how standard we are to what Kickstarter rewards are, but I do think that one of the appeals of Kickstarter is people getting one of a kind things, limited edition things.
Right.
It's kind of a nerd out thing. Like I have this like limited edition comic book. Only 100 of us own it.
And that's, I think that's, I heard this before that is the future of comics. I guess that Kickstarter and crowdfunding, that's going to be the future of it, and I suppose so. It looks like it is, and when people back, they can get nice rewards. They get a copy of the comic, a limited copy of it, some special artwork, special things. So, I mean, it seems doable. It's just there is that worry, and I'm sure it's the same worry that you have, same worry that all the comic guys and ladies have out there. It's just you don't know, but as long as momentum continues, it's like, okay, cool.
We're pretty confident, yeah.
Cool.
And if I don't succeed in getting it funded by November 6th, I'm still going to pay my artist. It's just we'll have less copies of it in circulation.
Well, I hope everything goes well with it. I do. And the illustration you were talking about, was that the one you sent via Facebook? Because I have it on the screen right here. The one.
I did a screen capture because we hit $666 today. That's one that I think that you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's a really nice illustration there. Now, the 123 Go Comics has other comics as well. There's one we talked about before. What was it? Malik? Was it Malik?
Yes, Malik Devil. Yes.
Yeah, that one was pretty crazy. I like that.
That's the Jeffrey Haase writes that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Chris Mccully colors it.
And it speaks my language. It has violence, brutal violence, a lot of TNA. I like that stuff. Okay. So yeah, it just got me right there. I was like, man,
there was like one page with blood.
But it was worth it. It was worth it.
She was pretty half naked. Yeah, she was.
Yes. I mean, she's on the screen now. It's like, this stream's gonna be age restricted probably. No, it's fine.
Yeah, Malik is an adult book for sure.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
And we're working on issue number 2 of that right now. I think we have about 10 pages done of it.
Issue number 2, sweet.
Yeah, there are going to be 6 issues of that.
Man, yeah, you got the cover for that one?
Not for number 2.
Man,
no,
it's gonna look sick. But it's look awesome.
I know I just butchered his last name, but Edwin from Uganda, who's been with 123 Go from the start, he is doing the cover for that. He did the cover for Malik number 1.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and then let's see, what are some other comics that you definitely? I guess if you could talk about any of the comics that you've released, which one do you want to talk about? Like, which one do you really want to hype on?
Okay, I'm still pretty excited about Trouble number 1, which dropped at the same time as Malik number 1, and we are working hard on issue number 2 of that. Number 1 is still available on IndiePlanet.com.
Nice.
And yes, that is about Tamika Kennedy, who is a former Soul Corps Marine, retired and trying to live on a beach on the moon, and she just gets pulled into all this. All sorts of petty crime that she has to solve, and she's kind of a smart ass, and it's kind of fun.
I like the premise. Pretty cool.
Comedy, action comedy.
Yeah, you can do a lot with that. Make it fun, have it action, have some nice visuals. I mean, the art style behind it looks really good.
There's TNA in trouble. She's definitely in a bikini with her big old.
Yeah. I think I've seen some. I think he sent some stuff with that one too. It's like, yeah, I like this too.
I think I did. Yeah, last time we talked.
Yeah. Let's see. Now, have you had any trouble or issues or hurdles that you had to overcome with these comics?
Yeah, I mean, just money. Money is always an issue, and I recently settled down back in Pennsylvania and got a cool job at a restaurant. So I've had less of my financial problems. Now it's not having enough hours in the week to do the work that I want to do.
Okay, and the work when you say work, are you talking about like your daytime job, or are you talking about like with everything with 123 Go Comics?
balancing those two things.
Okay, yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah, the day job, that's something you got to keep until you don't need to keep, Ah, man.
Yeah, I really like where I work right now, though. It's a cool restaurant and a cool crew. So
And that's good. That's good.
you
Uh,
gotta love what you. Yep.
yeah, you got to love what you do, man. If you don't, you're just going to hate life, man. I remember working at a call center. I hated every day of my life. And I realized it was my job. It was my job. I hated myself for that job. But
That's it.
in that
Well, I'm
financial,
glad.
oh yeah, I finally got out of that. Now now I'm a baby snatcher pretty much. No, I'm just joking. Um, no, but the financial hurdles though, that's something that, God, that's so. But at least
Why
you
we're
got
doing
you got the crowdfunding for that. Any have you had to deal with any like, let's say, trolls online or haters or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, limited degree of in the people that have reviewed Malik #1 because we did a pretty strong push to get that on covered on podcasts and blogs, and I think we ran into at least one or two people that were just reviewing us to trash us because they were just saying, that
What?
type of person. I guess troll brained is like a mental disorder.
You say
You
troll
need help
brained?
being troll brained, yeah.
Hmm.
Um, like being sadistic and or thinking that people that think like the internet isn't real. That statement is so ridiculous.
Right.
Um, that they use that to justify their behavior online. Um, but I remember growing up, we used to do prank phone calls. Back when payphones were a thing, and you could do so much, pranking and being silly, and then it gets to a point, and then the cops are at somebody's house because it's actually illegal to be harassing and terrorizing people.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, when you're calling up someone, harass them on the line, I mean, they could report it to be blocked. I mean, the internet stuff is, as long as the service has a way for you to block them and ignore them and stuff. I mean, at least you have that. Jeez,
yeah,
but but, but they
and
were
that's,
they
and
were
that's how I deal with most trolls. It depends on the type of troll too.
yeah.
On Twitter, the type of politics that I'm into or that I follow, the type of people that I follow.
Oh yeah, man.
Sometimes I'll meet a type of person who is stuck on a particular political agenda. Then I'll enjoy a few hours of just like drilling down on them and how dumb they are. But then eventually I get bored and block them.
Yeah, that's something I try to avoid as much as possible. I'm like, man, okay, I just want to have fun. I just want to talk about horror, have a fun time. Talk about. Sometimes I'll do video game streams or talk about
I guess,
weird people
yeah,
on
but
the
that is
internet.
fun for an
Yeah,
hour or two here and there. Not like every day.
yeah. All right, so let's see. Any oh, what about comic snobs? Yeah, any issues with that? Like, especially in the indie comic scene. Like, do you deal with people that like look down upon you or upon 123 Go? But like,
I want to say, yeah, I mean, possibly, who knows? But as far as snobbery, yeah, I think it to a degree it could be who's sold more copies, who's done more Kickstarters or makes more on Patreon that would like give them the wherewithal or point of view that they believe that they're in some seat of power to look down on other people. And I don't know. What Tyler Dern says on a long enough timeline, we're all extinct. Whatever success anyone has, we all go to the same place when we die, or we're all not here after we're dead. So people
right,
can feel however they want to feel about me. I
right,
feel fine about me.
yeah, that's good. I think that's a pretty positive outlook there. Now, this is a horror. 13th Moon is a horror-based comic anthology, but you don't. Horror is not the main thing you do. It's not the only thing you do. Like, I guess you do other things like sci-fi. In sci-fi, like action, like with Trouble #1. There's like more action comedy. Um,
And comedy.
okay, now did you grow up reading horror comics back in the day?
Yeah. Well, some. So I was blessed to have been given some of my mother's comic books when I was pretty young, and she had a bunch of like I guess the Bronze Silver Age books.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she was really into like Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen and all the Superman side characters and romance kind of books. But
Yeah.
she also had a bunch of Tales from the Crypt. She had Tales from the Crypt. She had The Witching Hour. She had a variety of those old school horror. And I guess, was that when the Comic Code was like being pulled back, or were they just publishing that without the Comic Code on it? I don't know.
Well,
But
I remember like when the Comic Code happened, they got around that by saying that they're not comics anymore, that they are magazines. They became horror magazines. That way they can get around that.
okay. But yeah, so I would read that as a kid, and that was probably the scariest shit that I read as a kid. But other horror comic books that I read, or was ever into, I like Hellboy. I definitely read a bunch of Hellboy, both the comic books and the novels that they do, the narrative fiction. I like the TV adaptation of Preacher. I never read the entire Preacher series. But I
Preacher's
did.
good.
By watching the show.
Preacher's good. Yeah.
Did you watch the whole series?
No. But I remember the comic. That was pretty good. I mean, I recently looked at it because what was it? This guy named Church. Yeah, Church. I was on a show before, and he talks nothing but comics. I got on there, and we're talking about Lock and Key, which is another good comic. And you mentioned Preacher. I was like, oh, okay, I gotta check this out. And it delivered. It definitely delivered there. I definitely like it.
I had a friend a couple years ago that was going to develop the idea for the for a TV show about Preacher, and that was my first introduction to it. And I definitely liked the idea of it when I was helping him develop that a little bit. But I hadn't ever read any of the issues of it until I started watching the show, and then I kind of went back and read some of the comic books just to reference the differences, compare and contrast what was the same and what had been changed.
Yeah, I'm horrible with that. It's like, and that's one thing I want to talk to you about later on the show is comic book adaptations. Which ones were the best? And you can
Right.
probably school me on that because, man, like I'm pretty sure your comic knowledge is a lot better than mine. I'm
Maybe.
100% sure on that. But, and see, one of my favorite horror comics growing up was I think it was what, Creep Show? Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, Creep Show was pretty good.
I know that they did a new version of the TV show recently on what is it? It's one the horror one of those horror streaming services. I forget what the hell it's called right now.
I probably don't have
Shudder. It's called Shudder. Yeah,
Shudder.
Shudder.
Okay.
Shudder.
Okay.
And that Shudder did a full season of Creep Show. It was pretty good. It was actually really good. But no, I never read that. Well, no, I might have. Was Creep Show like back in the same time as Tales from the Crypt?
Yeah, it was around that time. I think it was it before Tales from the Crypt? Wait, no, I think it was no. It's in the same vein because it's Stephen King. It's like because Stephen King was definitely involved in Creep Show.
After Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was.
Oh, I think. Yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah, I think we talked about this before. Oh man. Now I'm looking. I'm checking. I should know this. By the way, other horror comics I like, of course, I gotta mention Creepy, Eerie, Vampirilla. I mean, I have a thing for Vampirilla. She's great. Anything by Richard Corbins, I mean, that's great. Let's see.
Sandman. I like Sandman, which has horror elements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one.
Swamp Thing.
Oh, Swamp
Thing is. I like the character and the adaptation of it that DCU did last year. I think DCU is getting scrapped as a platform, but they put out some good shows while they were on.
Now,
I think COVID probably killed DCU.
Yeah, I pretty much did. And so I guess now would be a good time to ask, really, what is the best comic book adaptation? Like when it goes to TV, movies, TVs are movies.
So as far as I can't say for sure as far as what is uh most strictly close to the original form. I wouldn't judge it based on that because I haven't read all of these books necessarily. But just shows that I like the adaptation of Deadly Class. Deadly Class was really good. Um the Watchmen isn't really an adaptation, but the series of Watchmen that broadcast in this past year, that was a really, really good story. My favorite overall in the last year or two of adaptations is definitely Doom Patrol. Um, and we kind of got left with a cliffhanger because they didn't finish the 10th episode because of COVID. So we got a season that gave us the first 9 episodes, and then they just I mean, and they weren't going to wait 2 years to put out the 9 episodes they had, so that's what happened with Doom Patrol season 2. Still, though, best comic book show on TV easily is Doom Patrol.
See, oh man, I didn't even. I need to write that on my list.
Oh my god. They have Brandon Fraser. Brandon Fraser as the robot guy, Machine Man, or whatever his name is. Cliff Stone or Cliff Iron or some shit. And he is incredible as the robot guy. But yeah, and Alan Tudyk, or however you say his name, he was in the first season. He was brilliant. But yeah, that is an incredible show. If you haven't watched Doom Patrol, watch the fuck out of Doom Patrol. And the only other show in the last couple of years I would put in the same category of how good Doom Patrol is Umbrella Academy.
Oh yeah,
Umbrella. I read like 1 or 2 of the books since, once again, trying to compare and contrast to the adaptation. But the TV version of it, the Netflix version of it, is incredible.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I've seen the Netflix version. I mean, I've seen that. I haven't read it, but I like seeing it. It was pretty good.
The artwork is pretty weird, and it's nice. It's good, but it doesn't. The way it's portrayed with real humans is just like such a good action show. Yeah, I think the book plays at a different sort of tempo.
Yeah, I was really disappointed with Lock and Key. I haven't read it. I was like expecting it to kind of go along, with the comic pretty well. But the moment I noticed deviations like right from the beginning, I was like, man, that's not right. That's not right.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to enjoy an adaptation sometimes because of that reason. If you know the source material too well, and if you're a total nerd for that. So, I liked also in the last couple of years, Legion was an incredible show. It's pretty true to the character of Legion, even if I don't think in the comic book they ever had any of those circumstances go down, other than him being Shadow King's arch nemesis for forever or whatever. But they actually do introduce Professor Xavier by the 3rd season. Legion also, they did musical numbers. It was brilliant. Legion is totally worth watching if you haven't watched it.
Well, you okay? Dog's barking.
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, he's the neighbor's dog. If you could get him to shut up, I invite you to.
Make sure he's not going to attack you. You got to break through the fence or anything.
We got
Cujo.
We got 2 pieces in between us and Cujo. Yeah, now we're good.
Oh man, let's see. I mean, when it comes to like films, it's like adaptations. Like I could think of, like I really liked the Joker because it was first of all I got burnt out on comic book movies, so I really liked the Joker because of change of pace. It kind of reminded me of Taxi Driver. I pretty much was Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Without I mean, you didn't really get to go on the Letterman show or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what they did in which show it actually was. But yeah, no, Joker was cool.
Yeah. But of course it's not an adaptation because it's like I don't recall that ever happening in the comics. Like
that's like a reboot. That's like a reboot or like a different version of the Joker for sure.
So I mean, it was a good film, but adaptation-wise, it was like okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there a series or franchise that you think they totally dropped the ball on when it comes to adaptations?
I don't know. All right, so I like the TV show Lucifer, the Netflix show Lucifer. Actually, the most recent, I think it was 8 episode half season that we got was pretty good. But I also think that is a huge departure from the book. That it's like a police procedural with a romance soap opera sort of thing going on the Netflix show. Which they did that well. They actually did a really good police procedural comedy kind of romance thing, but definitely not a good adaptation if that's what we're still talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else. I don't want to get some people's TV shows too much.
Yeah, see, I'm thinking of like the X-Men. Well, the X-Men series is so.
Did you watch The Gifted?
No, I have not seen The Gifted. Is that good?
Because they have a bunch of X-Men and mutant characters that they depicted pretty cool. The Fenris twins, Blink, Warpath. They pulled from like the New Mutants more than anything, but yeah, The Gifted was a pretty good show.
Okay.
I hated most of Bryan Singer's movies, but no, The Gifted was, I think, even signed on by I think it was Singer and the guy who did Burn Notice, Nix.
Is Singer still around? He's not locked up yet? I hear he's pretty creepy.
I've been given to understand that as well, but yeah. He rolls big time Hollywood people. I don't know, not my business.
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
I could write better X-Men movies than him. I'll say that for the record. Definitely, I can write better X-Men.
Yep. Yeah, this Hollywood types, man, you can't trust them. They're like, I'm saying it. You're not saying it. You're not ruining your career. I'm saying it.
Oh no, I mean, I started attacking Singer years ago about those movies online. Yeah. He already knows I'm in.
Yeah. That's good. Man, and there's a lot of movies out there that I had no idea were based off of graphic novels or comics. Like Wanted, I had no idea that was a graphic novel. Or Ghost World, I did not know.
Happy, I didn't know that was a comic book at first when I started watching that.
Right. It's the more you look into it, it's like, wait, you mean majority of everything you're watching, like even The Crow, I had no idea that The Crow was a graphic novel. It started off as a graphic novel. I was like, what? So I guess there's hardly, like, almost zero original scripts. I mean, there's some original scripts, obviously, like,
like almost 13 million. Those original scripts.
I'm sorry, like what?
I don't know. I was plugging 13th Moon again.
Oh yeah. Well, 13th Moon is original. Of course, the comics are original, but it's like a lot of movies like pull from that because it's like they don't really start off on their own. I mean, there's some that do. I mean, with Star Wars, Star Wars didn't start off from a book or a comic. It was like George Lucas had this crazy idea. Of course, now they just kind of run it all away.
Did you ever watch Dark Matter on the Sci-Fi Channel?
Dark Matter.
Yeah, because that was, I don't think that was based on a comic book. And that was a really, really good 3-season run.
Oh, I'm thinking of Dark City, but Dark Matter. Okay, Dark Matter.
Dark Matter.
Okay, no, I have not.
It's like seven people that like wake up on a spaceship with no memory of who they are, and they kind of figure out that the spaceship that they're on is like really super famous for being like these crazy murderous people, but they none of have that inclination. Kind of.
This Xavier, I just googled it right now. It's based on their comic book of the same name.
Is it?
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Serendipity.
It's okay though. It's okay because chances are the thing you like is probably based on some sort of comic or graphic novel or book. This is like a Kevin Smith movie or Adam Sandler movie or George Lucas, well, former George Lucas, I guess. It's like they're pulled from other material. It's like, oh, this comic works, this graphic novel works, okay. But I mean, I see why they do it that way, because I mean, man, it's so expensive to make a movie. I mean, you can't. You gotta make sure your investment is right. You know, you gotta make sure your investment is as solid as much as you can. So you want to pull from a series or story that shows that it works. If it has a fan base, okay, you pull from that. They do the same thing with anime, like with manga and anime. It's like most animes pulled from manga, and usually not as good as the manga. But anyway,
It's all good.
All right, so let's go ahead and plug 13 Moon again, hype it up real fast, and then we'll talk about favorite horror movie, and then we'll we'll wrap up. So once again, 13 Moon. What is it? What's going on with it? Let's plug that. Let's plug that Kickstarter.
Okay. All right, so it's a 52-page comic book. It is hopefully the first of a series of annual Halloween books. It features 7 stories by a number of different creative teams, and it is $13 in shipping right now on Kickstarter. Look up 13th Moon Halloween Anthology, and you will find us. Come check out our big boards, and I'm really happy with this book, and I hope you get a copy.
All right, I'm definitely gonna back it too. I'll do that.
Well, thank you.
Now,
thank you, Mr. Dead.
Last time you were on, I want to credit you for this. I think, were you the guest that recommended the movie The Audition?
Yes, that was me.
Yeah, and I watched that like I think the following day. Good movie, awesome movie.
I told you it was gonna fuck with you, right?
Thank you for that recommendation because it was great.
You watched Suicide Club too? I recommended Suicide Club too.
Yeah, and I have not had a chance to see that one yet. I mean, I had plenty of opportunity, I guess, with COVID, and I've been around quite a bit. But
Suicide Club is not as fucked up as The Audition, but it's a really good fucked up movie.
Not as fucked up. Isn't it the one where the like whole class kills himself in the beginning of the movie?
Yeah, it's like 60 schoolgirls are lined up and they jump in front of a tree.
That's pretty fucked up. But
yeah.
The audition was pretty wild though. I mean, it started off slow, like it's almost like a drama. It's like a romance drama thing.
Yeah.
Or also,
I warned you that.
Go ahead.
Wow.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did warn me about that. And its premise on paper could also be turned into like a '90s comedy. Be like, dude, man, like, bro, you don't have a girlfriend? Dude, we could just do an audition and get yourself a girlfriend. It'd be like an American Pie sort of thing. Oh my God, what happened here? Oh my God, do like a casting couch. Oh, bro, dude. But no, it goes dark real fast.
Once it goes dark, it goes way dark. Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's like I start feeling sorry for the chick. I'm on her side because of like the guy's going. He's playing this ruse to get her, but she seems receptive. She seems nice, and then next thing you know, there's like this.
Do you remember the scene where she's going like kitty 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 kitty?
Oh, yeah, with the stabbing of the eye. Yeah. Spoiler alert, guys.
Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, so me and my friend watched it together, and then like for the next 3 months, whenever I wanted to fuck with him, I would just be like kitty kitty kitty, like make him cringe. Yeah.
Yeah, that right there. Oh, and even before that, like the guy that was in the bag, like the guy that had no fingers.
That's when you break the wall. That's when like we switch from the one version of the movie to the other.
Yeah, man, that was so messed up. And like he was eating her vomit.
Yeah, well, you gotta get your vitamin somewhere,
right? Oh man. It is a wild film though. Dark. I mean, I've seen many. I did a review of it, and it's like there's layers to it. There's, I guess, different sort of, like I guess commentary of it. Like, what does this mean? What like what is the overall meaning behind the movie? Is it all a dream, or is it?
I think they wanted to make a fucked up movie. I think they wanted to like push boundaries. Yeah.
That could be it too. That's the other idea. They just want to push boundaries because in the end, the guy wakes up. It's like the guy's just dreaming. He's worried because he knows that he is trying to move on from his his dead wife, and he I don't know, feels a lot of regret and feels guilty, and you know, not the most honest of ways to get his girl, or sorry, to attract the girl, but you know, they're going on dates, so he's thinking about engaging and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Or you could hire a girlfriend.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, any other new recommendations besides Suicide Club? That one I need to see.
For horror movies, definitely not. I don't think I've watched much. Oh no, that's not true. What was that one that I watched? Fuck. I'm gonna have to look at my Googles real quick.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
All right.
Oh, and Timothy Olsen in the chat. He also has a Kickstarter. It's in pre-launch, but yes, I'm trying to crowdfund it again. Good. Don't give up. Don't give up, man. Like, the only way it's gonna get anywhere is if you keep the momentum going. The moment you stop, I mean, that's it. You just stopped.
Keep going. All right. I really don't know if I'm gonna be able to figure out the title of this. No. All right. The actor is like kind of a goofy actor.
Okay.
Oh, I think Zuckerberg movie. What was the movie that they made about Facebook?
Oh, what was it called? The Facebook movie?
Yeah. I don't know. I will email you about this later. I'll figure out this movie. But it's like
Okay.
a couple that like goes to look in a house and they get trapped in the neighborhood, and it's like there's no one else in the neighborhood but them, and they can't leave the neighborhood, and it gets worse and worse and worse, and it's really fucked up. So that is the horror movie that I'm going to recommend to you after the show.
They're trapped in a neighborhood. They can't get out. Wait, that's a recent one, right?
Yeah, it's like 1 or 2 years ago.
Oh man, and it's just them in the town, right?
It's just the two of them, and then like they give them a baby. Whoever, like the forces that be, provide a baby for them to take care of.
Is it Vivarium?
Yes, that's it. It's really good.
Google's great, isn't it? It made it seem like yeah. I just literally typed in a horror movie trapped in a neighborhood. Vivarium. Man, okay, that's why you mentioned the Social Network. That was the movie, the Social Network, the Facebook movie. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I'll give that one a try. Most definitely.
It's fucked up. It's definitely fucked up.
All right. Well, Miss Xavier, thank you so much for coming on the show, Horror Talk Radio, for talking, 13th Moon, Volume 1, and the other comics of 123 Go Comics. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to check out their Kickstarter. If you haven't backed it already, feel free to do so. I'm definitely going to do it. I mean, you don't have to follow what I do, but,
Thank you, MrDeadman. Thank you for having me again.
Hey, it's no problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, press the like button, share, subscribe. You guys take it easy.